Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Cool.
Laszlo, can you hear us?
Yes. Hi, guys.
Yes.
Hey.
So I haven't really prepared any topics. I just copy pasted stuff from Discord and I reused one of the templates. But Sindre, if you want to share your screen or something, you can take over.
I'm sure. I guess we can just talk, and then you can keep that document in focus, I guess. It's, as you all probably understood, it's quite chaotic for me at home with the new baby and all. So I have limited time to work, but I am spending basically all my time on this now. And I've been, it started out essentially trying to make Imba work really well on Windows, because when I tried it myself on a new Windows machine here, it was broken in so many ways. So after I fixed the Imba itself for Windows, I started with the VS Code tooling for Windows, and that kind of like ended up into a bigger kind of, not the full rewrite, but a bigger re-architecturing of the way we do type checking and stuff using the TypeScript compiler API to make it actually work consistently and reliably. And that has taken, I wouldn't say it has taken a long time. It's just that I don't have enough time to work, so it is taking more time than I would like, but it is getting there. So up until I'm done with that, because I'm in this really deep into this branch and this this project now, I haven't really had time to focus on anything else outside of that. So I'm just trying to push through and get to the finish line on that. So
Nice.
yeah, and it is going to be like, I could talk a little about that. It's previously, I'm not sure how many of you have actually used like type annotations and gotten a reliable working, like having the Imba tools actually work with good auto completions and type inference and stuff. But there were so many reliability issues, and the way we did it before was that we essentially, like, every time you made a modification, we under the hood compile that file into TypeScript in a special compilation mode, and then we fed that into a TypeScript compiler service, and then we from the Imba file to the compiled TypeScript files, and then get auto completions and stuff from that. And there were so many ways this could fail, especially when you have files that don't really compile correctly, where you are in the middle of writing a statement that isn't complete. Yeah, there were a lot of issues, and it was also too slow. So compared to if you actually try the TypeScript or JavaScript auto completions and diagnostics in VS Code, they are just lightning fast. And I now change it under the hood to actually use the TypeScript type checker directly on our Imba parse tree, or not the original one, but the tokenizer written in Monarch, which is the Imba/program thing. Yeah, so I'm just rambling now, but essentially what you need to know is that when this is done, there will be consistently good tooling for Windows and Mac. And yeah, I think it's worth the time, even though it makes me now just ignore important issues, like the fact that it seems Imba after version 129, I think, seems to be crashing for a lot of people. I think it's due to upgrading ES build to version 0.9, but I haven't had time to really look into that. It's working on both my setups, so But I will get back to all of this. I will get back to the important issues. I will definitely get back to actually getting the beta out. But I just need to finish the tooling refactoring.
Sounds
okay.
good. I'm trying to figure out how to summarize everything you just said, but you're essentially working on the tooling, right?
Yeah, essentially. Like more consistent, faster tooling. And that also includes like actually being able to use type annotations. So
you can reword everything I wrote in the document in case
yeah.
misheard. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was finished. But yeah, it's right now it is. I only have so much time every day, and I'm just working as fast as I can. And I think for me, it's important to actually, yeah, especially finish this tooling rewrite instead of jumping back again to focusing on other parts. So it will be. I'm sure people are waiting. I'm waiting as well, but I just need to get it done. So.
I know it's hard to estimate time, but do you have any thoughts on what is left on the tooling, or is it like unknown?
I think so. Every day it's kind of like in 2 days at most.
Okay.
So it is. So it has been for that, like that for a week. I've had a few breakthroughs. It has taken a lot of time actually getting to know the internals of the TypeScript type checker and the way all of that works. But now today it's working pretty nicely, I think. And I really hope, and I really do think that I will be able to wrap it up enough for a release this week, like by Friday. That's my hope and what I think is possible now. So.
All right.
Yeah.
And I guess after that, it is the ES build as a priority, since seems a lot of people report it as broken.
Yeah, I think it is. It's probably something small. I'm guessing it might be related to the way the different versions of the compiler caches the compiled output into a temporary folder, and there might be some collisions there or something. It would be very interesting if I managed to actually reproduce it myself.
Do you have is there any way to get more debugging from ES build? Is there any flags or anything that could be used so people can help debug it?
Maybe you should be able to just add -v to your command for like verbose when you run it. Since it looks like it just freezes, I'm not sure it will actually output anything interesting. But yeah, have you experienced it, Frode, or
no,
just?
I haven't.
No.
But it's good to know that can be tested, at least for people who have that.
Yeah.
Issue. See if there's anything.
It was actually quite interesting to just trying Imba on Windows. I remember Eric joked about Imba being Mac only, and that was essentially the case because it was just so. It was incredibly broken. So I have no idea how people have actually used it on Windows, but both the tooling and the compiler itself just didn't work at all with backslash paths. And yeah, there were so many issues. There are still challenges with CRLF line endings. But at least now I'm making the compiler just tell you that you need to toggle set line endings to be LF on VS Code and stuff, and then we will fix that later. But yeah, there were so many issues. So
would it be a good idea to set the latest to be 129 just so that people coming in don't encounter this issue while we're working on it?
Yeah, that's actually a good idea. Yeah, we should do that because it right now it forces the latest version. I'm still really not happy with the whole NPX Imba, like it's so weird. Like which version are you actually installing? Is NPX always installing a new version? I have some problems actually wrapping my head around how all that works still. But yeah, we should do that. I could look into that and try to get that done tomorrow morning.
I would say, sorry to interrupt, but I would say
Yeah.
the getting started script should have the in the packages.json fixed towards 129, and then that solves it, because then it will fetch always the 129.
Yeah. Then we need to.
Sorry, I could not hear.
Yeah, I think what we're doing now is we're just not respecting the version in package.json from the template. We're actually overriding it in with the Imba.
You're cutting out,
but-
Sindra. Not sure why.
Damn. Let me see. 2 seconds, guy. Can you hear me now, or?
Yeah. Most of the
Okay,
time.
I think I'm using a Bluetooth headset that's constantly trying to connect to my MacBook. So I should
Okay.
probably just join you.
Sounds like a good idea.
Sindra, I also submitted an issue just earlier today about the older browsers. One of them is like a 2020 version of Chrome for Android. And I think that should be able to run an Imba app, but it's not. So I added some details there in an issue about which version of Chrome and Android, and also on iOS, an old phone I have. But I think that's a pretty big issue, because here, a lot of people don't really update their phones. So whenever they bought their phone, that's like the latest version of a browser they have.
Yeah.
And most people have a phone older than a year. And that's a lot of people here that can't use any of my apps.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that would be sort of important, at least for beta.
Yeah, definitely. And as you said, it should be able to work with those versions of Chrome. So I'm guessing it's I'm hoping and guessing it's more of a minor issue actually. But we should I should get try to test it on Browser Stack. I haven't really used Browser Stack much yet.
Creates virtual devices, like
yeah.
So it would literally be an Android phone or an iPhone or whatever you test on.
Because
you get like a monthly membership, you can try any device you want.
Yeah. I'm guessing that should probably be at least getting to find out whether it's a simple fix or not. That should be a high priority after the tooling thing now.
And it's Imba 2 is like entirely different to work with web components, right? So like it's not as easy to change it so that you didn't use web components, like to have that option. Or
I think it's extreme. Again, I don't think the reason is actually the lack of web components, at least not in Chrome 79. I think it's something else that is probably much more trivial to fix or work around.
Okay.
It will be a huge, possibly not a huge, but a very big undertaking to allow, like, not basing anything on custom elements at all. And it will be slower, and it will be just like, I think it will be at least for me,
just use Imba 1 for that.
Yeah, I guess so. But I wouldn't say like use Imba 1 if you want to support Android phones bought in early 2020. That's obvious. Like that shouldn't happen. I'm guessing iOS 10. No, even 10.3 actually. So both of the browsers you have tested here and posted about in the issues should be supporting at least basic custom elements. So then again, I'm guessing it's something else. I should be able to try it out. So your app is actually live, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I put a link there. You can try it.
Yeah. That's very nice.
Where did you put the link? Where did you put the link, Eric?
In the issue. I can send it in a message here. That last issue there. Works fine on desktop. It's just on those older mobile devices.
Yeah.
Sindre, do you have access to the browser stack? I see that.
Yeah.
Open source.
I'm trying it out now.
Okay.
But I might not. I tried just using a random Vivo phone, but I can't see like about version. Can you write that in? Yeah, we should probably not debug right now, but
I think it would be good to get to some of the questions about static site generation and stuff.
Yeah, because I have to go literally in 15 minutes. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so just continue. Eric, I will try to find an actual device on browser stack that has Chrome version around like Chrome 79, and then I'll report back to you. Yeah.
Thanks. Love Imba too, by the way. Not dissing, just.
Yeah.
Maybe that's on the roadmap, which is a question that came in, and just like thoughts on, I guess, the alpha that will be released and it will be pushed a little bit, and then potential beta.
Yeah.
Like feature set, and like, is there any new features you're thinking, or is it sort of now wrapping things up?
I think it's definitely, like I always say, that it's wrapping things up, and then I spend a huge amount of time doing all sorts of refactorings. But feature-wise, I actually do think it's about wrapping things up for the beta. It's just making sure things work consistently, yeah, and improve some parts of the build process, essentially for like the choosing the directories and making it actually build for Electron, things like that, but no actual new features in the language, I think. Not for beta.
Yep.
Yep.
And then it is the big question of static sites and like generating, outputting pure CSS, and the best way to do it, I guess.
Yes, I think for SSR sites are definitely, like, Imba works really well for that. At least it will work really well for that when we finish some of the concepts like hydrations and things, which is working now, but it's not really, like, we don't have best practices, especially for dehydrating and rehydrating complex components from the server to the client. But completely static sites, I guess that's just about making since Imba can render things from Node and actually output, like, you can stringify the HTML that you generate in Imba on the server. So creating a static site generator for Imba is just about like creating an application that does that, like externally. I don't see any reasons, or I don't see any limitations for why that wouldn't be possible, or even very. I think it is a pretty good fit actually, but I haven't had time or interest to do that. At least not.
So it's more about making a framework that does that.
Yeah, it's more about that. Yeah,
in
yeah,
itself.
yeah, definitely.
And then it's, I guess, like Gatsby and stuff maybe have hooks and things that you can trigger if data changes, but that can also be moved outside of this framework as a first version, I guess, and just have it generate the file output. Maybe have where you can upload it somewhere or something.
Yeah, I think it should be doable to do something like Gatsby or Nuxt or all the other things for Imba. I'm sure it would be kind of different, like do some things in an Imba way. But I see no reasons for that being difficult or not possible with Imba. It's, yeah, I think it's pretty suitable for that sort of project.
Yep. Does it make sense? Because I've been thinking about it, but it is not trivial to take some of the Scrimba code and make an SSR example, for example, since we have something running. But I suspect that you would want to work on the hydration and things before exposing that.
Yeah, I have worked a lot on the hydration since the current version that we use on Scrimba. So already it's I think it's good enough for showcasing some small parts, but then again, it's like anyone who will use SSR, create an SSR application with Imba now will have to like discover a lot of things for themselves and experiment. One thing is creating an SSR application that actually completely wakes up on the client, like where you actually export and include all the logic and all the tags so that you can render it either on the server or on the client. But a more tricky thing is obviously to render things on the server and then just awakening some of the components and keeping the data around and all of that stuff. And that alternative, I'm sure, still needs more work to at least be production ready or useful for people who are not tinkerers.
Yep.
Yeah. Do anyone in the chat here have any experience with browser stack, by the way?
No.
No. Okay.
Till like 10 years ago. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah, I've used it 5 years ago a couple of times.
Yeah.
Major.
Just seems difficult to actually find out which devices have which versions of Chrome, etc. So, but I will figure it out.
I have a question.
Yep.
This is more like, can ESBuild easily be dropped or replaced with something else?
What did you say?
Can ESBuild be replaced with something else? Or is it too
theoretically it could, but that's the one thing I wouldn't replace. Like we may want or need to roll back to an older version if there are some things that are just not compatible, because ESBuild has gone through a lot of changes recently. We're still on 0. now, but it's now on 0.11 or 12 or something. Exactly. And some of the changes makes things more complicated for us, or since we are implementing our own hashing of the file names and splitting and stuff, to be able to create these entry points, like inside of an Imba application, you can do like import .worker and then the path, and then it actually creates a bundle from within the bundle. all of that stuff will be more difficult to support on ESBuild on the later versions now. At least it will require some internal changes. But ESBuild itself is just an incredible piece of software. So it's really an astoundingly good library. And even if things are kind of buggy now, or if we have some problems with it, I'd rather want to work around that and fix that rather than replace it. I don't see a viable option for replacing it at all. Like there's no competitor to ESBuild.
Okay, but because I was thinking that everything is depending too much on ESBuild. So if they are doing some changes, incrementing with stuffs, you're going to depend on it all the time.
Yeah, but we can obviously like stay on an older version of ESBuild. So
until it satisfies the features that you're using from it, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the other question very quickly, can you mentioned that you're using what was it for the components? Native
web components.
Yeah, web components.
Yeah,
I forgot. Can that part be replaced with something else easily?
Not easily, but so what we're really using web components for, native web components for, is that it makes it really easier to attach logic and methods and functions to the actual DOM nodes instead of having a mapping like we did in Imba 1, where each DOM node actually has an Imba proxy or an Imba wrapper for that node. But it also, the other really important thing is that it gives us really performant hooks for getting informed whenever a node is attached to the document and when it's removed. So to be able to work around that, if I didn't worry about performance at all, it wouldn't be too difficult, because then we could just, whenever you create a custom element, we would just add all the properties and methods, etc., to that element after we create it, and then we would also have to have a DOM mutation observer or something on the root of the document, and then check for every DOM mutation, and then check when elements are added and removed. We did an efficient version of that in Imba 1, but it was still pretty buggy and not that performant. So those are the two things that are just much easier with native web components.
Okay.
But to be honest, we are already when you do like tag paint application inherits from canvas, or when you create a custom tag that inherits from a native element, then we are kind of not using web elements already. If you're spawning that element in Safari, which is not supporting customized built-in elements, which is a part of the web component spec, when you do that in Safari, you would see that it actually, we work around it, where we actually do create a native canvas element, then we copy all the properties and the methods from your custom tag onto that native tag that we just created, and then we add a placeholder web component inside of it, add it to the document, and then we redirect the connected and disconnected callbacks from that tiny native web component, and then just So it's a big hack, but
okay.
But
I got
for
it. I got the answer.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No problem. Anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna ask with regards to the next meeting, is 2 weeks from now good, or should we try to do one next week at this time?
I think we could, at least if we keep them at this length, or maybe like a little longer, if we start Q2 or something instead, then I'm definitely available every week. At this time a day, I will always be available, essentially. At night, it's much more unpredictable now, so much so that I think it's probably not wise to schedule meetings in the evening for my part, unless they are very late, like 10 p.m. or 10:30 or something here in Norway. But yeah, we can definitely schedule a meeting for next week. That's fine for me. And let's hope the tooling is out then. Yeah.
That would be great. And if it doesn't work, just let me know, and then we can try to reschedule again.
So just before I go, the last thing I really wanna press is that even if it doesn't seem like things are happening now, I'm still like 200% committed to Imba, and I'm spending all the time I have available for it. I'm actually spending on working on it. So things are just taking a lot of time. So
Thanks so much.
Yeah,
thank you guys. Thanks for joining. I'll have to go.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Have a
Cool.
great week. Bye.
You too. Bye.
Bye bye.